Hey guys, I'm gonna let a couple people get on and then we will get started. Drinking my coffee, trying to wake up. So I'm gonna let a couple of y'all get on. Hey guys. Hello everybody. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, guys. All right, so cool. We got some of y'all on. What's up? Hey guys. Long time no see. I feel like now that I don't do monthly leadership calls, I miss so many of y'all. So I like trying to do, pop in at least once or twice a month on here. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I actually just did a similar training on another leader's page, actually Patricia's page, who's going to be on here on Friday. And I thought these 3 talking points I think are so critical for a new leader. And I think that I do a really good job mentoring to upper leaders, but not so much sometimes the brand new leaders that come into this community and just kind of can get derailed very easily. So anyways, my name is Chloe. If you guys are new to this page, this is our all groups leadership page. And so I'm happy you're here. I'm happy that you decided to join this community. Love seeing you guys share on here on this page, how you're leading and what you're watching and how you're growing yourself. I think it's a really beautiful thing when you see leaders showing up without being asked to show up for the greater good. I think it's a beautiful thing. So I just want to say thank you to everybody who is, showing up and sharing how you're leading. And I would love to see some more lives, but So anyways, as I was, thinking this morning about what I was going to talk about on my friend's page, immediately A was dropped in my head, like the letter A, which is abnormal because normally God will be like, you need to focus on this, or I'll kind of have a direction. And after A popped in my head, the first word that popped in my head was authenticity. And the second was activities. And the third was accountability. And so I want to talk to, sorry, I was cold and now I'm hot. So I want to really specifically, like I said, speak to lead consultants or new consultants in leadership that are struggling. Maybe you're going through a dip right now. This can be a dippy time of year, just to be honest. It's not being negative. It's just being real. And it can bring in, for my upper leaders, meaning directors and above, it can bring into our higher leadership some doubt and just especially for our SSEs to lead, it can really make you feel like you don't see the growth that you're trying to grow, right? Is there anybody right now here that feels like that? Or you're feeling like you're putting in a lot of effort, you're not really seeing a lot of results, or you're hitting some dead ends, or every person that you're sharing the joint opportunity with says not right now, or I don't know, I just feel like we're in a season right now. We're in a season, I know if I'm feeling this way, y'all have to where it can be very easy to stop the good work of harvesting and to get derailed, okay? And there were many times in 2020 where I was so derailed. I literally, just to be totally vulnerable with y'all because y'all are leaders, I did not know who I was anymore. I didn't know what I was doing in my business. I felt very overwhelmed and very anxious. I was trying to lead you guys, and our SSDs were trying to lead you guys to pivot and to not be worried. But I would be lying if I said I wasn't worried then. Since then, we have grown astronomically, and God has been so good, and you guys have been doing the daggone thing. But now we're in 2022. Now it's the aftermath, okay? It's the aftermath of the pandemic, right? It's the aftermath of having to, honestly, some of us were just running the past 2 years. And now we're in May. And now we're in a place where we're like, okay, What do I do? How do I do it? What do I need to focus on? Where I feel like, I don't know why, I just feel like there's many people in this place right now, and you're trying to figure out your new way of running your business, and you're trying to get things in process. You're trying to get to that 2,000. You're trying to get to that 2,500. You're trying to recruit and train them well, but there's just so much like chaos in our brains that from being derailed for 2 years, not knowing what the customer was going to say back in 2020, right? Not knowing if they were going to cuss us out. We wanted to be appropriate. We didn't want to be inappropriate. We didn't want to bother, you know what I mean? So anyways, and I'm not saying that this impacted us in a negative way at all, because again, all groups grew. All groups grew. You guys have done fantastic. But what I'm concerned about right now is leading out of the pandemic. And what I want to make sure that I'm able to bring to you guys as one of your leaders is how I'm getting out of the pandemic mindset and back into the world that we live in now. So authenticity. I think authenticity, you guys, our group is very authentic. We have a million different mindsets, a million different ways to work within these groups, and it's a beautiful thing. And so for the new people that are on this page, or maybe you're not new, maybe you're just burned out and you need to hear this. Authenticity will keep you in this business. Authenticity will keep you grounded. It'll keep you understanding who you are, what you will allow, what you won't allow into your space, meaning when, you know, like knowing when to cut it off, like as far as like when you've overworked in your business and those kinds of things. Authenticity is going to make you feel confident when you train your teams. Authenticity is going to make you confident when you text your customers. Authenticity ingrained within is going to help you be your best self. And I can say very, very clearly in 2020, I did not know who I was. I lost my authenticity completely. I was so worried about what other people were going to think about me. I had a lot of eyes on me on social media. Like I was taking kind of almost everything as like an attack. And I was so unstable. Okay. I'm just going to be real with y'all in my own leadership that my husband had to step in and help me because I did not feel like I had value to add. And I'm saying this 100% vulnerability to you guys, because y'all need to understand that I am just like y'all. And that year, after I said to my husband, like, I don't know who I am, I've kind of lost this Chloe. I lost who Chloe is, like this authentic Chloe who can stand up in front of a room and bring it no matter what people think. I lost that. And so anyways, long story short, 2021 was kind of a rebuilding for me, kind of like getting my health together and getting my wellness together and figuring out relationships and all these things. And now in 2022, now we're ready. And so what I want to say about being authentic, okay? I want to say this about being authentic. You are one of one. I literally adore every one of you. Every one of you I don't know. Every one of you I do know. Everyone I have not met. Everyone I am going to meet. I absolutely am ride or die for this group. The reason I'm here is number one, because of my family, and number two, or number 1.5, is because of my leaders, because of you guys. Because I know if I fight through it and I can be my most authentic self, then you guys can fight through it and you can be your most authentic self. And it's hard when you're a leader, right? And you're showing up for your team and you're showing up for your customers and and don't forget your family. If you're married, don't forget your spouse. You're showing up for all these people that you are left incredibly empty sometimes. Okay? This is facts. And I know this. You don't have to tell me this. We give so much of ourselves to everybody else as a leader that we become not burned out, we become drained, we become empty, we become angry, we become just not our best, most authentic self. And what I want to say, because there's several of you on right now that have not even been consultants that long, a year and a half, and this is why I feel led to talk to y'all about this today, because I think it is so important for you to realize you're one decision away from going back to your authentic self and trusting that and trusting, you're building the plane as you fly it in Cincy, you guys. I don't know if y'all figured this out yet, but you literally are. And Jen, I have felt depleted the last 2 months and I don't know why, right? Why do these things happen? So let's move on to harvesting, okay? And before I move on, I just want to say with authenticity, you guys know, and I'm going to keep saying this, I think this is important that we talk about why we're doing what we do. Remember your rooted reason. When I look out that door, when I look out of my office right now and I look at my property and I look at the things that God has given me because of this business, because I fought hard, I look at the fact that I don't have to leave my son when he's sick. My husband's with him right now. My son has the flu, but I'm not at work doing a 12-hour shift. I'm here doing this, mentoring to y'all. When I look at my life and when I look at the freedom I've gotten, there is never going to be a day ever, and I want you guys to understand this, that I'm not going to show up for y'all. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I may not physically post on here a lot, but I don't need to. This is a leadership page. And so just know that rooted reason, whatever that is, and that's why I want you guys to really think about this. What is your rooted reason? Can y'all comment for me real quick? What is your rooted reason? Like, why are you doing Cincy? What is your literal, what is so rooted within you that nothing could take it down? And I'm just going to give you guys a minute to type that out because I think, vulnerability is important. This is a very special page to me. So just know everything you guys say on here, it stays here. I hope to God it would. I would hope nobody would screen record stuff. But my kids, better lifestyle, never miss a moment with my 4-month-old. With my son, I missed the first 1.5 years of his life. I never watched him walk. I never watched him eat solid food first. So one of my big goals was to try to get my closest friends to be able to do the same. And there's 2 women in particular in our group that have not missed a beat with their kid because of that. Being home with them, to retire from medicine and continue to provide, to give my little girl everything she deserves and wants. I want to build my family. I want to be a mom and the best mom that I can be. Fertility isn't cheap, but God is bigger. Amen. So I can be home with my son and not to worry about money. Being available for my family. So I don't have to work outside of the home. Just so many, my family, being able to bring in income, be a stay-at-home mom, but bring in income. Show myself that I am worthy. Michelle, you already know. Time, freedom. Tired of living paycheck to paycheck, want to give back to the community, want to help my son in college, travel and live life. And you do, Angela, but imagine being able, just how abundant it could be for you. Financial freedom to prove I'm worthy. So those rooted reasons, okay, my family, we're in an income struggle, be able to go to all my boys' games. My dad never went to one of my games. Not one. Not one. So I felt that one. All right. So before we start crying, let's move on. Okay. So authenticity is, I believe, the most important thing for you as a leader to hold on. Because if you are authentic and you know that you're having a bad day, have a bad day, dude. Just come back tomorrow. Have your day. Have your moment. But listen to me when I say, we don't give up in this group. We don't give up. We didn't give up in a pandemic. We're not going to give up post-pandemic, okay? So be authentic. There's nobody like you. And guess what? Not everybody's going to like you. Who cares? Doesn't matter. Do they pay your bills? Doesn't matter. Don't worry about what anybody else has to say. You know your truth. You know who you are. And if you don't know who you are, re-listen to what I just said for the first 10 minutes about being authentic, because once you step back into that, you're going to be who God made you to be. And if you're not a believer, you're going to be whatever you believe in has created you to be. Okay? So you're not allowed to give up. You're not allowed to give up. You're allowed to feel. Amen. Amen, Beth. You're allowed to feel. You're allowed to be upset. You're allowed to be emotional. Just keep that mess off social media. Trust me, I'm real bad at that. Keep it off social media if you're emotional. Vent up. Vent up to your upline. Don't ever vent down, okay? You guys, if you don't know that, I'm going to tell you that right now. Don't ever vent down. Don't ever vent down. Okay, vent to me, vent to your upline, vent to your upline. So next is going to be activities. You guys know this. That's why I'm going to kind of skim over it. Do any of y'all feel like you're not doing the right activities right now? Anybody? Just me? Kind of feel like you're maybe all over the place. It's, it's kind of, you're trying and you're getting your sales and you're trying to recruit and you're doing the activities, but you just don't know if it's right. I feel like that right now, which is exactly why I'm asking the question. And I have a schedule. I have things that I do certain days of the week, but we've been a little derailed. My son got sick and last week we had to do some yard work. So, things can derail us, right? Is anybody kind of feeling like you don't know if you're doing the right activities? Okay, good. So I'm going to talk about something that some of us are going all over. Teresa, yes. Okay. I knew there was a reason that I felt like this. So what I've noticed, okay, is in the fall, we are rocking and rolling. We're like, go Cincy, fist pump, glitter in your face, whatever, da-da-da. Do you know why? Because there's more surrounding excitement and enthusiasm for Cincy with the customer base. Customers, you can get your sales all year long, but there's something about fall with the customers being excited and this different energy right after reunion. It happens right after reunion and really gets good in August and September. But in the spring months, these are the months where it is incredibly important to not only stay on a schedule. Listen to me. Don't get off of a schedule because it's summer. I'm speaking to myself. It is so easy, especially if you primarily work from home, to go. And I'm not saying things aren't more important. So like our yard work, there's things we had to do. Like we have like ants everywhere and moles and all these things. So there's stuff that we had to do. But listen when I say it's important that you stick to a schedule. Because when you're in a schedule and you're in a routine, even my 9-to-5ers, my shift workers, as you can still have a schedule, meaning what activities are you doing within your pockets of time to continue to run your business the same tenacity as you would in the fall. Okay. This is something I realized with myself last week. I was like, you know what? I am sitting back too much. I have 10 parties open this month, but am I giving them the best experience that I could? I don't know. Maybe not. I've not sponsored anyone this month. That's very concerning for me. So I have to not only look at myself, but Chloe has to look at her schedule. What am I doing with my schedule? Somebody said the ants. Yeah, the ants are freaking ridiculous in North Carolina right now. I cannot. I can't. But with the activities, we can't just look at what we're doing. We have to look at like, when are we doing it and how are we doing it? How. And this is something Katie Lassiter mentioned to me a few weeks ago when we were texting about activities, and she was like, the when, the how, the who, all that is so foundational for the activities. Because we know, right? The 3 legs of success. What are the 3 legs? I'm gonna let y'all comment. What are the 3 legs that we focus on as a group and that we replicate down? The 3 legs. What are the 3 legs we focus on? Yeah, ants are terrible right now. It's horrible. Horrible. So the 3 legs of success, which y'all are going to list, that is what we primarily focus on. Rinse and repeat. 1, 2, 3, do it again. So with the PRV, what I'm trying to explain about activities is we need to have scheduled. What are we doing with those people that order? How are we sharing with our customers about referrals, about Cincy Club, about what experience are we giving that activity? Does that make sense? So when you're looking at an activity, we can become very robotic, okay? Look at me. I'm type A as it gets. If you know me, you know I'm type A. Hence why I am the way I am. I'm a work in progress. But it's not so much the activity as it is what experience are you giving that activity? What are you doing with that activity? The how, the what, the when. When are you doing that activity? So with PRV, what are you doing with that? When you're doing your PRV follow-ups, what are we doing with that? We're in a harvest season, okay? I just talked about this on my last live. We are in a harvest season to where we are planting a lot. We're watering, we're fertilizing, we're giving sun and vitamin D and nutrients and water, blah, blah, blah. And we're not seeing anything yet. A lot of us, we're not seeing all the conversations we're having. And listen to me, I know a lot of you guys are actually working. Okay? I know you are. I think you are. I see your numbers. I know you're working. I see you showing up in your story. I see all these things. But you have to look at, okay, especially if you're a seasoned consultant and you know what I'm talking about. All this stuff you're harvesting right now, the sponsoring conversations, the party conversations, sharing Cincy Club, doing so much, being the 1%. I want to tell you right now, everything you're doing, all of these conversations you're having about joining, they're not dead. Listen to me, they're not dead. I want you guys to give yourself a pat on the back every single time you have a conversation this spring. They're like, I don't know yet. I don't know yet. Guess what? They're going to be ready in August. They're going to be ready to join. They're going to be ready. They're going to be ready to join club in July when the scent's in. They're going to be ready to do these things. So listen to me when I say, I think it's incredibly important that when we're focusing on PRV, recruiting, leadership, that we continue the workflow. We continue the right activities. We continue to add value. We continue to give the best experience. We continue to make sure our team pages, our group pages, leadership pages, whatever pages y'all have are full of resources to guide them. I love training in the spring. You know why? Because my customers aren't up my butt, because it is a little bit slower in the sense of my time as a leader is a little more freed up in the summer. So what I don't want to do this summer as a leader, listen to me leaders, is waste that time that I have as a leader and don't implicate and get resources together and get my systems systematically. And that's the thing with systems. People freak out. Guys, it's a systematic way that you work. Quit thinking about documents. The documents are for self-accountability. Did you hear me? When you're thinking about a system, the document is self-accountability. The system is something that becomes a habit. So what systems do you know that habitually you need to change right now in the summer? Okay? What systematically needs to change in your work ethic? What systematically needs to change in the verbiage for your customers? What systematically needs to change in the process of your mailouts, in the process of customer service, in the process of all those things? So when August hits, it's just going to be growing. It's going to be crops and crops and crops. Listen to me. Some of y'all don't believe me right now. I've been doing this long enough, and there's people on here right now that have been doing this long enough, and they know that every single thing I'm saying is true. Right now, you're not seeing it, but listen to me. Don't pull back because you're not getting a response from your customer. Who cares? Listen to me. This is a true story. Can I tell y'all something? And it's kind of emotional, but I'm going to tell y'all. So I had a customer last week kill herself. Okay? She killed herself. She was 31 years old. She lived right down the road from me. There were many times I would text her and she would not respond. Many times. About a week and a half before she died, she responded. And we talked. And it was beautiful. And I'm saying that because I never am going to give up on a customer because they don't respond to me. Ever. Ever. Just because somebody's not responding, you don't know what your customers are going through. You don't know what your team is going through. You don't know what your new recruit is going through. And so I want y'all to listen to me when I say, do not get discouraged by the conversations you're having with people. They're not going void. They're not void. I promise you. I promise you they're not void. And it's so hard for us when we're doing activities in the summer and you're getting maybe 70% less response or 50% less. Keep showing up. Keep inspiring. Your customers are watching you. We've talked about this, you guys, since day one. But if you're new, I want y'all to understand. Don't get butthurt if they don't respond. It's okay. You have no idea what they're going through. You have no idea if they've had a bad day. You have no idea. And that's why it's also important to build relationships with our customers, which we talked about in Master of PRV and Master of Recruiting. But anyways, sorry, that kind of took a sad turn, but that's a real life example of, you know, you can't think that because someone's not replying to you that they just don't care. People go through stuff. And that text that you send them, okay, literally what Katie said, your text might be the only one they get to check in on them on how they're doing. And that was literally me with my friend. I had no idea what was going on with her. So Anyways, so activities, guys. I want you guys, listen to me. Y'all have an incredible advantage because you guys are under a wing of SSDs that are fire. Okay? Fire. Look at their activities they're doing. Look at how they're working and get ideas and make it work for you. Every time you see a training, every time you see a tip, every time you see this, don't think you have to do it exactly. That's not what you were created to do. We're all different. We're one of one. Okay? But you need to take that and make it your own. And I want to just reiterate, having a schedule this summer is going to be critical for you guys, systematically doing things and getting processes in place systematically for parties and for customer service and mail outs and all those things. So when the fall hits, all of those seeds you've been planting, okay? It takes a couple months, by the way. All of those seeds you've been planting for recruiting and parties and all this stuff, they're going to be ready in August, okay? And then so we talked about authenticity, we talked about activities, so now we're going to talk about accountability, okay? So, all right, with accountability, this is very, very important, and I talked about this on the other training I just did. We live in a world where so many people want to be motivated. Your team wants to be motivated, people want to be motivated, people want to be motivated. Can I tell y'all a secret? Motivation is the most toxic trait a human being can have. Motivate, especially a leader. If you are waiting to be motivated to work, not only is it short-lived, but it's never going to give you what you need, because the only person that can give you what you need for your business is you and practice and failure and time and pivoting and evolving. So when it comes to accountability, what I want you guys to know is it is so important to focus on not motivation, but focusing on inspiring. How are you inspiring your team members to show up in the summer? Are you going live and sharing what you're doing on your team page or your team space or whatever it is, your leadership page? Your SSDs are waiting for you as leaders to show up and be vulnerable. Everything's not always rainbows and butterflies. And it's important to show up. Listen to me. The reason we have on many of these leadership pages that you are required to post is because you're hurting yourself by just scrolling and stealing information for the benefit of yourself. That's not leadership. That's not servanthood. And the reason I stopped doing so many trainings was because I found people getting motivated off my trainings, and that's short-lived. And what I want, my biggest hope for you guys, and what I want y'all to hear for your teams, you want to inspire them to go out and to be their best self. You want to inspire them by giving them tangible tips, by giving them legitimate resources, which is why when I hear leaders say they don't even have any system, I'm like, so what are you sharing with your teams? What are you systematically telling your teams when they ask how to get high PRV? Systematic can also mean, front loading. And when do you front load? Do you get what I'm saying? We take systems to this crazy level because y'all are getting freaked out by Excel spreadsheets. But at the end of the day, that's how high up leaders, a lot of us hold ourselves accountable. If I don't have those spreadsheets, it's going to make me derail. So you also have to look at, what are you doing to hold yourself accountable? You bought your kit or you earned your kit, right? I didn't buy it. Your sponsor didn't buy it. I hope to God they didn't, because that's out of compliance. But when it comes to accountability, I think what we need to understand is that self-accountability will not only lead to you evolving and to you looking at yourself and stop wondering why, your sponsor and all these people aren't giving you this. Nobody needs to give you anything. I know that's a hard pill to swallow, but your sponsor is not required to motivate you. Your sponsor is not required to text you outside of our business hours. Your sponsor is not required to make you successful. You are required to make yourself successful. You are required to look in the mirror and say, look, I haven't sponsored anyone this month. This is what I'm literally thinking right now. I'm like, why? Oh, you're not doing the right activities. It's very simple. Let's go back to activities. That second acronym. You're not doing the right activities. And so it's so important for you guys to understand that self-accountability will take you places that you have never been before, because once you stop focusing on other people that can't make it happen for you, when in reality, I'm not in your workstation and I'm not on your cell phone, there's zero way that your upline can help make it happen. You have to have the conversations. You have to have the rooted reason so you can go out there and front load the parties. So, I mean, literally, and when I mean front load the parties, like, I know for a fact many SSDs that do this every month, we front load. We're like, okay, let's go ahead and front load. We don't have parties booked. And I just think that, you know, a lot of us are waiting for motivation, but motivation is not an ethic that is going to get your business where it needs to go. Waiting for someone to motivate you, waiting for these things. You have to realize that if you want to grow, you have to grow. You have to be self-accountable. You have to dive into resources that you're going to make yourself be accountable to so you can get in the driver's seat of your business instead of passively being on, you know, the side road and watching everybody else on the highway. That's not going to help you at all. That's not going to grow you. And it blows my mind when I get emails or text about, I don't have the resources. I don't understand that. Can I just be honest? I don't understand how anyone in this group can say they don't have the resources when I have every single resource that would get you to Superstar Director in a year pinned on this page, and all of the links we have, as well as all the other leaders that have given their resources. It's not that you don't have the resources, it's that you're not focused. And I know that's hard to hear, but we can't say we don't know what we're doing. It's that's literally the craziest thing I've ever heard. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard. Because if y'all go to this pinned post at the top of this page, you can be an SSD in a year if you work it appropriately. There is no reason for anybody, whether you're a new lead consultant or you're, you know, a star director and you've been stuck. Everybody's stuck for a reason. So you have to look at, okay, it's not the resources because those are there, right? It's not the fact that you don't have an upline. That doesn't matter. And y'all do have an upline because I'm everyone's upline. So we can't say that. And y'all all have my resources as well as all of your SSD's resources. So we have to become self-accountable. We have to stop saying and quit and getting mad and all these feelings, because at the end of the day, you're projecting that on your upline or on someone else, when the reality is that you've got to get in the driver's seat of your business this summer. And, you know, I think it's super important to realize that, you know, nobody's going to change your business but you. Nobody's going to get bring back bar parties but you. I'm doing bring back bar samples today and focusing on getting parties out for June. Nobody's going to do those things but you. Nobody's going to sign up for virtual SFR but you. Nobody's going to sign up for in-person SFR but you. Nobody's going to book the parties but you. It's not your sponsor's responsibility, and it's not their responsibility to continue to train you guys on these things. Do you know why? Because we have the resources. We have everything you guys could need. And, you know, I think that we have just a lot of people. I think, you know, when I go in any other groups and train, they're blown away by the resources we have. But when I post resources on this page, it's like, okay, you know, so I think too, it's a matter of you guys are extremely comfortable in just receiving so much that you're not realizing that you have every single resource at your fingertip to be successful. And you have to be accountable to find it. It's not your sponsor's job to go to the top of this page in the pinned post and find stuff that you need. It's your job to click and find the stuff that you need. And I think that, you know, it just kind of, to be honest, it kind of bothers me when I hear people complain about not having things, but you don't want to look at the resources given to you and you don't want to click them. I cannot help, I physically can't make you guys click on the resources I've shared. I can't make you show up to our leadership meetings every 4 months. I can't make you look at all the amazing content on this page. I can't make you look at the files, and I'm not going to. Do you know why? Because it's your business and you're accountable to your own business. So if you're saying you're struggling, my question for every single person on this page is, number one, why are you not looking at a different way to pivot? And number two, how are you keeping yourself accountable? How are you holding yourself accountable? How are you holding your goals accountable? Those are my goals for this month. What are you doing to be accountable? I don't come on here and say, okay, guys, motivate me today so I can book parties. I just do it. I just do it. Do you know why? Because my rooted reason is not going to let anything, it's not going to let it not happen. So, to kind of wrap this up, I just want you guys to know that you can get out of the dip anytime. You can pivot anytime. You can evolve anytime. But it's up to you guys. And I think it's incredibly important right now in the summer to maintain a work ethic, to maintain your systems, to maintain, your week at a glance. What are you doing with your business throughout the week? And if you can't put your finger on what you're doing in your business throughout the week, it doesn't matter. And a lot of people say, well, I work all the time. Guys, I used to work 12-hour shifts, so I don't know why people keep saying that. I really don't understand why people keep saying that to me, like I wasn't on the floor for 6 years grinding and texting in the bathroom to get parties booked. It has nothing to do with your work schedule. It has to do with what you're doing with your time. It doesn't take a lot of time to grow a business. It takes the right activities, the right follow-up, and the right consistency. That's what it takes to grow a business. It takes you being hungry. Hungry people don't say they don't know what to do. Okay? I'm going to say it again. Hungry people don't say they don't know what to do. They find how to do it. People that are hungry, that are driven, that are ready, they don't ask their sponsor and complain about not booking parties. They go and watch every damn training they can, and they figure out every type of party, and they get parties booked. You don't need a lot of time. You need to do the right activities with your time. So just like after this, I'm going to start making bring back bar samples so I can get parties booked, okay? Literally, it's end of month for me at this point. I need parties booked and I need recruits. So it's all about what you're doing with that time. And like I said, once you have a rooted reason, I think a lot of people don't have rooted reasons also. You don't have that reason that's getting you out of bed or keeping you out of bed after you put your kids to bed to get your Scentsy done so you can grow this life that you know you can grow. You're not taking advantage of the opportunity, which again is why we stopped doing so many trainings this year, because people wanted to show up every month and say, oh, I needed this, I needed this, I needed this, but nobody's using the resources. We don't train so we can motivate y'all. Let me speak for myself. I don't train so I can motivate y'all. I train so I can give you guys tangible tips, tricks, give you some belief, and instill and inspire value into you. That's why I train, to help you grow your business, to give you tangible activities to do, many habits to do, so you can grow a business. And so I'm going to try and leave it there. But I hope that this was helpful for some of our new consultants, some of our new leaders that are in here, just to realize that, we all could name a million reasons as to why we don't have time to do anything, why we don't have time to work out, why we don't have time to eat right, but leaders look for solutions to success. Leaders don't say, I think it's one of my biggest pet peeves, aside from people saying they're like 26 packs away from a trip. Sorry, I can't stand when people do that. My next biggest pet peeve is when consultants say they don't know what they're doing. And I find that very difficult to understand when I have mapped out at the top of this page everything that you need that I created for you. So just keep in mind that your mindset is everything. As a lead consultant, as an SSD, as an in-between, your mindset, what you go into is everything. What you believe, what your values are. Showing up, even when you don't want to. Like I said, as soon as I get done with this, I'm texting customers that ordered, I'm getting mail outs ready, I'm getting bring back bars ready for parties. I'm not changing my work habits this summer. It's not happening for me. I'm traveling a lot in June. I'm traveling in July. So I know I've got to work double hard. So people are like, well, I'm vacationing. Well, why don't you prep so you can be ready for that vacation and have parties working for you so you can actually make beach money instead of complaining when you get back that you don't have no parties this month because you didn't want to front load. So it's very simple when you look at what activities you're doing. If they're working, you're growing. If they're not working, you need to evolve, you need to pivot, you need to look at resources so you can get back on track. And just know too, it's never ever too late to start. So I love you guys. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Like I said, I got a couple things to do in my office before I switch off with Justin and get Brody. But I just want you guys to know that, even though it's, May, June, and July, do not stop the activities. Do not stop the right activities. If you're scrolling on social media, scrolling doesn't make you money. Stop scrolling. Stop looking at all these Scentsy consultants. Stop wondering why they're taking great pictures. Work your own business. Just because people make cool reels and take cool pictures doesn't have anything to do with their work ethic. And you need to understand that. Stop comparing yourself. Focus, stay in your lane, get your parties booked, have sponsoring conversations, get your bring back bar samples made, and just lead. Love you guys.